T. I looked directly into a camera and told the world that if his own son kept moving the way he was moving, prison was the most likely destination. That's not a rumor. That's not an exaggeration. That's a father, one of the biggest names in Southern hip-hop, someone who has personally served federal time, publicly saying he recognized in his son the exact same mindset that once nearly destroyed his own life. And the fact that T.I. felt the need to say that out loud tells you everything about where King Harris was heading. Here's the full picture: the arrests, the feuds, the family fractures, and the moment in early 2026 that made everyone realize this situation had gone further than anyone expected. King Harris was born in 2004 into one of hip-hop's most visible families. His father, T.I., had built Atlanta rap into a global movement through platinum albums and a career that survived federal charges, prison time, and constant reinvention. His mother, Tiny Harris, was already a music industry figure as a member of Xscape and as the co-writer of TLC's No Scrubs before King was ever born. Growing up, he was on reality television, followed by cameras, and carrying a last name that came loaded with expectations before he had done anything himself. He started releasing music around 2020 under the name Kid Cyan, trap-influenced sounds, melodic rap, early attempts to build an identity separate from his parents. For a while, it looked like he was finding his lane. Then in 2022, a video went viral that had nothing to do with music. A clip spread across social media showing King in a heated argument at a Waffle House in Atlanta. The dispute started over something minor, a food order, but escalated quickly, voices got loud, people started filming, and within hours the footage was everywhere. Critics said it showed entitlement. Supporters said it showed a young man under constant pressure reacting impulsively. Either way, it introduced King Harris to a much wider audience under circumstances nobody would choose. That same year, his name showed up in police reports. The original stop was minor. Reports indicated it started with something as small as a seatbelt violation. But when officers ran his information, a more complicated picture emerged. Additional charges surfaced, including speeding, driving with a suspended license, and accusations related to driving under the influence. There were also reports of a missed court appearance that had led to a warrant. What started as a routine traffic stop became a mugshot that circulated across every major blog and social media page. King's response was to post about it online, joking about the situation and brushing it off. That reaction triggered as much debate as the arrest itself. Some people saw a young man trying to save face. Others saw someone who didn't understand or didn't want to acknowledge how quickly situations like that can compound into something much more serious. His father understood the danger immediately. During an Instagram Live conversation around that period, T.I. spoke with a directness that surprised a lot of people. He said he recognized the energy King was showing. He had lived it himself. Before the rap career, before the platinum records, before the television appearances. T.I. had been that same young man making the same kinds of decisions that eventually led to federal charges and prison time. He told his audience plainly, if King kept on the same path, prison was likely where it led. He didn't say it with anger, he said it the way someone talks when they've already seen the ending of the movie they're watching someone else start. He mentioned that discipline had happened at home. He mentioned that at some point, the only lessons left are the ones life delivers on its own. For people online, hearing a parent speak that honestly about their own child was striking. Some praised him for being transparent, others felt it showed how serious the situation had become behind the scenes, but the warning didn't seem to land the way T.I. hoped. In October 2024, King was stopped again by police in Georgia. On this time, the vehicle had nearly pulled into a police cruiser while leaving a gas station. When the officer approached, they reported smelling marijuana and noticed King had a firearm holstered on his hip. When they ran his information, the outstanding warrant from the earlier missed court appearance came back. He was placed in handcuffs and taken in. Body camera footage later surfaced online showing parts of the arrest. In the video, King was cooperative. No resistance, no confrontation. Officers noted that in their report. But cooperation didn't change the optics of the footage spreading across social media for the second time in 2 years, or the fact that the warrant from the first incident had never been resolved in the time between. Around this same period, claims involving the broader Harris family resurfaced publicly. Now, Sabrina Peterson, who had previously made accusations involving T.I. and Tiny, posted statements that pulled King's name into the conversation. The Harris family denied everything. Legal proceedings followed. Peterson was ultimately ordered by a court to pay tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees after a defamation case. But even when claims fall apart in court, the noise they generate online doesn't disappear at the same speed. King's name was now attached to conversations that went far beyond traffic violations. Then, in late 2024, something shifted. T.I. mentioned publicly during a radio appearance that King was expecting a child. A few months later, a son was born, King Harris Jr. Around the same time, King released a song called Dear Son, where he spoke about stepping into fatherhood and building something for his child. Like, for a stretch of time, the narrative around him changed. People were talking about growth, about maturity, about whether becoming a parent would be the thing that finally redirected the path I had been so publicly worried about. That window was brief. In early 2026, 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris on Instagram as part of the long-running tension between him and T.I. The caption was a direct shot aimed at T.I. For King, seeing his mother mocked publicly in front of millions of people wasn't something he was going to absorb quietly. He responded, and he didn't hold back. Instead of general insults, King posted images referencing 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who was killed in 1983 when 50 was only 8 years old. He shared a photo of her tombstone. In hip-hop culture, aunt involving someone's deceased parent is widely understood as one of the lines that doesn't get crossed regardless of what started the conflict. The post exploded across every platform within hours. Then came the music video. King appeared on camera wearing a shirt with 50's late mother's face printed on it, while delivering bars aimed at him. The visual spread immediately. Rick Ross publicly co-signed the move, which added fuel. But the most surprising reaction came from inside King's own family. T.I. later said that when he saw the shirt, he felt the line had been crossed. He had been in plenty of rap battles across his career. He understood how beef works, but he said there are still things you don't do, and putting a dead woman's image on a shirt as a weapon in a feud was one of them. 50 Cent's response was characteristically controlled. On no diss track, no long statement, just memes, sarcastic captions, and a social media presence that kept him trending without him ever appearing rattled. While the Harris camp flooded the internet with music and visuals, 50 stayed composed, and the contrast wasn't lost on people watching. When you lay out the full timeline, the Waffle House incident, the 2022 arrest, T.I.'s public prison warning, the 2024 arrest with the outstanding warrant, the family accusations, and then the tombstone post and the shirt, it stops reading like a series of separate incidents and starts reading like a progression. What makes King's story genuinely complicated is that none of these moments exist in isolation. The pressure of growing up with a famous last name and cameras everywhere, even the internal need to prove he built something on his own rather than inheriting it, the public fractures with his own family that played out on live streams, all of it feeds into the same dynamic. A young man trying to establish himself in an environment where every mistake is amplified and every decision becomes content for millions of people to judge. His father understands that environment better than almost anyone, and his father has been saying publicly for years that he sees where this is heading. King Harris became a father in 2024. He has music, he has a platform, he has time to redirect what's being written about him. The question T.I. asked, out loud on camera in front of his audience, was never really about whether King would survive the controversies he'd already been through. It was about whether he was going to make the changes necessary before the next one became something harder to walk back from. That question is still open. Do you think King Harris is capable of turning this around? Or do you think the pattern T.I. warned about is already too established to change? Drop it in the comments, and subscribe for more breakdowns on the stories behind hip-hop's biggest names.